Nick Roush here. Happy to be joined today by Kentucky football. Great. No. We're gonna say legend. A guy with a bunch of passing records in that UK record book. It's Andre Woodson. Andre, thanks for hanging out with us today. First off, just how are you? I'm sure people are curious. What have you been up to? I know you were on the sidelines coaching for a little bit, but how are things going for you?
Things are going well. I've been at Amazon with corporate communications now over 11 years, wearing multiple hats, supported with crisis management, public relations, community relations, you name it. I've been doing it. And so it's been an interesting journey, but it's been fun nevertheless. And so, yeah, things are going well.
In Lexington base? Is that right?
Southern Indiana, so like 10
Okay.
minutes across the bridge from Louisville.
Okay. All right. So, never too far from Kroger
That's
Field.
right. That's right.
Um, so I heard, it's through the grapevine. There's people said that you and Cutter Boley have been kind of in touch throughout this season as the redshirt freshman has made progress as the starting quarterback for the Cats. Just how did that relationship start?
Yeah, well, I actually spoke with Stoops after the South Carolina game, Cutter's first SEC start, and thought about the similarities between our first starts. Mine was against undefeated Auburn Tigers in '04 with Cadillac Williams, Jason Campbell, Ronnie Brown, and that stellar defense. And, they should have won the national championship that season. But, I basically started on the road in a hostile environment against what, should have been the eventual national champions. And, it's not the best way to ease your young quarterback into his first collegiate start. But I thought, Cutter had the same experience, right? Very similar, tough outcome, but he played, tough and competed. And I thought, if anyone can help him understand that this is part of the process and, playing at a high level against, the very best talent, typically takes time, and maybe some words of encouragement and insight could help his development. So it was clear he has all the tools and he's going to be a special player, but it always helps for someone who's kind of, been in that same predicament to provide some positive reinforcement. And I thought that was, it was helpful, at least from his perspective, to hear from someone who's played at UK.
Yeah, the game at South Carolina you had too. That they're kind of similar, where the defense is just like, can the other defense quit scoring touchdowns, right? Like that one came to mind too. That loss haunts me. I don't know about you or not, but I hated that one so much.
Yeah, it was a tough one. It's hard to not think of that one when you consider some of them, some of the games that got away from us, and which could have been, and it's unfortunate, but I guess that's the nature of playing in SEC, right? You're playing against, playing really high stakes against incredible talent and really hostile environments, and it's really hard to predict what the outcome will look like. But it's why you sign up to play in
Yeah.
this incredible atmosphere against hundreds of thousands of fans who are cheering against you. So pretty cool.
So what exactly was you kind of alluded to, but what was the message to Cutter, and just how did he take it? I mean, for a lot of people, it's like it felt like just yesterday you were throwing the ball around the yard to Jacob Tammy and Stevie Johnson, but he's like, who's this old guy, right? Like he was barely born when you're around. So what was that conversation like?
Yeah, I kind of eased my way into it. I was like, hey, Cutter, I left the voicemail. This is Andre Woodson, former Kentucky quarterback. I don't know if you're familiar with my background, but I'd love to just get in touch with you and chat a little bit. And I mean, Cutter responded within maybe a couple minutes, and he sounded really eager to touch base and hear from me. And he apparently knew exactly who I was. And the thing about Cutter is, I love his optimism, tenacity, and composure. And he plays the game like a vet, but still shows signs of an ultra competitor. While there are some inconsistency, and a lot of that's just from being a young player, right? And I thought it was really interesting to hear from his perspective of ways he felt like he can improve or how he can approach the game. And he has tons of respect and appreciation for what I did, and I thought it was a very invaluable conversation from that point of view, because it allowed him to understand, like, hey, I got a long way to go, and even though there's going to be some ups and downs and trials and tribulations, there's a lot to navigate with nuances of playing this position at a high level. But again, he was just really thankful and showed a lot of gratitude to hearing from me. And again, I think he has all the tools and intangibles to be a special player at UK.
So how you didn't just step right into bowl games, right? I mean, it was pretty rough there at the beginning.
The
So
understatement.
yeah. So like what are those what kind of did you learn from those losses to be able to push through to the other side? And what have you kind of seen from Cutter to kind of be able to do it in a much smaller sample size?
Well, yeah, I think, priority one is don't focus on the external, chatter or noise, right? Like you have to continue to focus on what you're good at, and also have to remember, that this season is still progressing, right? And Cutter is getting a stronger feel for the game, both mentally and physically. He's building a routine to prepare for upcoming opponents. He's better understanding how to break down game footage and identify tendencies and vulnerabilities in defensive secondaries, and all of those things take time. But the expectation is he needs to play at a high level, and not only is he doing that as a freshman, he's sort of resetting the standard for playing quarterback at UK. And so I'm proud of the young man, and that's just a part of the game, right? The evolution of the game. Like it's going to take time. So you don't need to add the additional pressure on yourself. I think it's inevitable, but as a young player, specifically playing the quarterback position, just understand like, hey, these are things that I'm going to continue to, focus on, and what are my takeaways, and then how can I continue to develop and improve in those particular areas. And I think he's doing a fabulous job of that so far.
It really, I mean, you can only take so much from sort of post-game interviews and that sort of deal, but he really does. The way he carries himself, he seems unfazed by adversity. There just seems to be a confidence there, and I don't think you can play the quarterback position if you aren't confident.
You certainly have to be confident. You have to have tons of composure, and you have to have a really short memory because of the turnovers and sometimes the misplays. But also you have to be a very vocal and present leader, and I think he does that in his own way. Right? Sometimes it's subtle, and sometimes it's evident. But he's done, from my viewpoint, he's done a masterful job of building camaraderie and chemistry with the team and leading charge. And you can tell the guys are very receptive to him out on the field. Sometimes he looks like he's a madman when he's running around there and just trying to make a play or extend, a play. But on the other hand, like he's very meticulous and methodical when he's going down the field with decision making and get into the players' hands who can be playmakers in the open field. And so I think from that regard, it's been really impressive to watch him. And again, you have to remind yourself he's just a redshirt freshman, and he's gonna need more time to continue to develop and turn into this player who we envision him to be. But so far, he's done a really nice job of embracing all these factors and trying to, play at a high level on the football field on Saturdays.
Yeah, I mean, especially when there's just so much pressure that comes in the job. Yeah. I mean,
there's a smidge. Yeah.
And being a kid from Kentucky too, I'm sure that amplifies that. Did you ever feel that at all? That like the fans are really begging or wanting more from you because you are a Kentucky kid playing quarterback for the University of Kentucky?
You feel the pressure. I can imagine it's only elevated to a different level now with social media and the fact that fans, can get to you with direct access. So I imagine now it's probably triple, but yeah, even then, as a Kentucky native, or at least, from the area when I was recruited to Kentucky, you understand the stakes and what's at large. And I really tried to compete and leave, my legacy, but understanding every game is, a tough fight, and it's a big opportunity. And considering all the things, all the obstacles we had to overcome with, with scholarship restrictions and recruiting violations and all those things that happened prior to Coach Brooks getting there, and sort of my senior class was like the foundational block to really get the program to the levels that it's at now. It was really fascinating. But there's tons of pressures playing at the position of quarterback, and rightfully so. I mean, it's you're a high visible player. You're sort of the marquee guy to make all the decisions and really get the plays or put players in a position to be successful on the football field.
So how are you still in touch with him? And hell, are you in touch at all with his coach, your old guy, Mike Hartline? You all chatting?
Yeah. I'm in touch with Mike. We chat all the time. Mike's an incredible guy. I'm so glad he's there as an analyst, and he's very hands-on with Cutter. And so apparently they have an incredible relationship, and which, that's amazing to hear, because Mike's really special. And I was just talking to Cutter not too long ago, and I let him know that for some reason, people now think that I've had some sort of, impact in the way that he's performing. And of course, that's not the case, because he's clearly a stud. I mean, you could see what he did in the high school level prior to getting to Kentucky. And but I think it's pretty cool to see, again, his evolution and how he's slowly progressing to be a player that is going to, really reshift the trajectory of the program. As long as he stays healthy and learns the position and continues to approach it professionally, which I think he's going to do. And he certainly has all the ability to do that in a really great way.
So what is the sort of next step that Cutter can take? And does that next step include breaking some Andre Woodson records? I know the Tennessee game we had, it was the first most touchdown passes in a game since you were slinging them around, I think, against Georgia. So what's the next step he's going to take to elevate his game?
I literally just told him that. I was like, hey man, you gotta take it easy here. I mean, you're making us old timers, look bad. I mean, he's breaking these records at this rapid pace. I mean, there will be nothing left. But no, he's for Cutter, I think, probably the biggest thing right now is just continuing to have a foundation understanding of what they're trying to accomplish offensively, having a really strong presence in the locker room, and just really commanding the offense when the opportunity presents itself. I think not forcing the ball downfield. And those are tendencies that he'll have to overcome over time, right? Some of it's repetition, some of it's just getting seasoned into the role, and then some of it's just basic understanding. But I think, the bigger picture will be for him to take the next step, and that's just, having a greater understanding or fundamental understanding of the system and what they're trying to accomplish week in and week out. And then from there, not creating, takeaways or, negative plays that put them in a position where now it's, they're not able to change the field advantage or, what's putting their team in a detriment. So I think as long as, he's really focused on those things and just continuing to improve on his understanding of the system and what they're trying to accomplish, I think, again, skies could be the limit for him.
Taking care of the ball, spoken like somebody who had, 500 straight passes without a pick, something like that. Andre, I appreciate you joining us today, hanging out, chatting a little with Cutter Boley. Before I let you go, I got to ask a Glory Days question. I'm sure you get asked about the big games all the time, right? All the big wins. What's your favorite throw, right? Like the one pass where you're like, oh man, that it doesn't get any better than that.
Probably, Stevie got loose against Louisville. I'm asked this question all the time, like, how did Louisville get in sort of this false coverage? And it's actually a pretty long story. I don't know if we have time for it.
We got plenty of time. We got all the time as long as you want to give it.
We're running a basic concept with a seam and a vertical on the outside. So seam by the slot receiver and then a vertical on the outside. And we ran this 3 times that game. We actually missed Stevie like 2 or 3 plays before halftime. We ran the same exact concept. And the scheme is basically to put stress on the secondary, the safety in particular. If there's a too high look. And so he basically has to make a decision. Either he's going to collapse and attack the seam route, or he's going to stay out wide and take the vertical away. And in this case, Tammy was actually running the seam route. And so he collapsed on Tammy, and then I had a chance to throw Stevie a vertical down the sideline. And this was about a 40-yard pass, and probably it hit Stevie on his fingertips, but he didn't manage to pull it in. And this is like 2 seconds before halftime. I think we ended up either kicking a field goal or we missed the field goal. I don't recall. And then almost 3 plays before that, we caught it again, but this time the safety stayed really wide, and I tried to hit Tammy, and we just missed to convert. And as we went back to the play again, this time I was able to bait the safety to come after Tammy. And because of that, Stevie was wide open on the sideline. And I'm thinking in my head the entire time as I'm throwing it, like, don't drop the ball, don't drop the ball. And Stevie obviously did the rest by getting in the end zone. But that's probably one of my most fondest memories or passes at playing at Kentucky.
I mean, the crowd pop, legendary. Like I especially love when they pan to the sideline afterwards, and I think it's like a manager, and he's just like, oh,
Yeah.
Oh man,
That was a pretty surreal moment for sure.
Oh man, great moments, great memories with Andre Woodson. Andre, thanks so much for all you did at UK, and also for helping Cutter, because it's been a lot of fun, and hell, we might be seeing the Cats in the postseason if he keeps on doing what he's doing.
Listen, I'm super excited for him and what the program could potentially do in the future. So here's the good things coming.